This episode of Robbie Rants, the podcast, is not intentionally to hurt anyone. I just want to share my truth. I just want to express myself. And this is how I let it all out. This is how I let it all go. And in truth, I know that somewhere, someone, if not multiple people, are going through the exact same thing. So I just want to help. And more importantly, I just want to heal. It's all about growth for me and letting my feelings out so that way they are not consumed in my head, because you guys know by now mental health is important to me. Thanks for listening. First of all, welcome back to another episode of Robbie Rants, the podcast. Thank you for listening and tuning in wherever you are. So, really heavy on my heart to do this episode because, right, we are tied to our family, right? You always hear that saying, you've got one family, you're tied to them. What are they tied with, though? What is your family tied with? I need to know. Think about it. Take a second. Guys, I've been frustrated, slightly hurt. This is more so why I'm doing the episode, because some of my family members have expressed to me that I may not be there for them. I am the oldest brother, the second oldest brother of 7 brothers and sisters, y'all. There's one me, and there's 7, y'all. 7 of us. Okay. Is the math mathing? Nah, I say that to laugh, but in all transparency, y'all, my feelings were hurt because one of my family members said I might not show up for them. And the truth is, to know me is to really know I try to show up for everybody. Sometimes I show up for so many people that I don't even show up for myself. And I think that's where my feelings were hurt, and this is where I wanted to talk about family ties. But before we get into the family ties, sorry for yelling, I'm going to share a background story with you, which explains why I really wanted to do this episode, and it gives you more, I guess, in depth about me. So, growing up, I was raised by my birth parents. I didn't have the best relationship with my father. At that time, shout out to our great relationship now. I love you, Dad. You are truly my best friend. But I didn't have the best relationship with him at the time, and my mother wasn't in the right state to take care of me. And my grandparents adopted me. That's the hyphenation, y'all. If y'all ever want to know why I have a hyphenation, that's why. Because I have my grandparents' name and I have my parents' name. And I love that for me. Thankful also. Just getting a little sorry. I never know what exactly I'm going to share when I do it. I just know I want to talk on the episode. So this is just as new for you as it is for me. Welcome. But she wasn't in the best state. My grandparents passed away. Then I was raised with my aunt, and then went with my older brother, and then was homeless at one time. And I've been, around, truthfully, in living situations. And growing up, it was really just me. At one point, I didn't even have the best relationship with my older brother. Love you, down, sir. And I wanted to talk about family ties because they're so important. You're tied to them, right? But you have to be conscious for your mental health and your growth of what you're tied to. Let's be clear about that, y'all. So, growing up and being raised in this mentality of being a single child, an only child in a sense. Yes, I had my brother, but it felt like I was a single child in a sense, raised by my grandparents, right? Fast forward. let's say 23, or even before that. Like, I reconnect with my father. I, build relationships with my brothers and sisters that I haven't built before. And let's be clear, not because I didn't want to. It's just because, like, life was lifing. You know what I mean? I didn't know. I didn't know how. I didn't have a connection with them, I didn't have no connection with my father, so there was no connection with them to even, like, really build with them. And now I have. And, like, 7 years later, I'm super grateful to have the chance to have a second mom. Like, it's so rare that happens, and that you connect so deeply with that. Like, you have a really good relationship with her. Ma, I love you so much. You've taught me so much. I wouldn't even be in this position if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much. And dealing with that, y'all, and just growing with that and living in that is hard. To go from years of not having to care about other people and be in survival mode and be a little selfish, you know what I mean, is hard. To transition into a big brother has been one of the toughest things of my life. Very rewarding, but tough. And I say that to say it hurt my feelings when that was said to me, because I try. I really do. And I'm not perfect, but I try to give what I can when I can. Whether it's a piece of me, whether it's advice, whether it's a listening ear, whether it's finances, whether it's whatever I can give, whether it's the clothes off my back if I have it. You know what I mean? Like, I was frustrated. Like, how dare you say that to me? And I'm trying. And again, this is not a malice. This is just truth. This is like, what are you tied to your family with? And the biggest thing for me is, like, I can only nourish those relationships that nourish me. And that's what this episode is really about, because, like, you have to take a look at your family sometimes. Even you have to really take a look at your family and say, what is going on? Is this happening? What is it that keeps us tied together? Listen, I don't want it if it can't nourish me, if it can't grow with me, if it can't check on me too. And the biggest thing for me is, in all transparency, a lot of people are asking things, and this is beyond my family now. This is just family, the world in general. A lot of people are asking for things that they're not getting. You know, again, do the math, y'all. I said the second oldest to 7. No, like, there's one of me. There's, like, prime example. Let's give a little scenario, y'all. You know, I have talks with my brother. I have talks with my sister. I have to tend to my niece and nephew. I want to bond with them. I want to bond with my parents. I have to make space for me. And I think that's the bit, like, and sidebar, you have to remember that too. You have to make space for you. And it's always looked as so selfish when you do, or if I don't show up, or if, you know what I mean? Like, not even show up physically, show up by a listening ear, y'all. I'm not always gonna be on all the time. Give me some grace. I'm not always gonna be on all the time, and most times I am on. So if I am off, but then it's like, are those people checking on you too? Do I want to be as on? Do I even want to be on? You know what I mean? Like, it's such a tough role, and it's not for the weak-minded, y'all. I'm not saying I'm giving this up. I'm not saying I'm not, excuse my language, fucking with any of my family members. I didn't say any of that. I'm just expressing myself on my podcast. Let's be clear. And talking about it, because, again, I know other people have gone through the same things. And can say it again, what is your family tied with? Because a lot of families are tied with childhood trauma. A lot of families are tied with conversations that didn't get to happen. A lot of families are tied with molestation. A lot of families are tied with lies. A lot of families are tied with secrets. And let's really be clear. Let's break the trauma. And I want to be tied with love and understanding and compassion and grace and laughter and love and commitment and tears and, you know, like that, just the dual effort of working together. Like, I don't know, I could be talking about a partnership too. Y'all don't mind me on here. But no, but seriously, like, your family is your blood, right? They said it's your blood. How close can you get? It's like a partnership, no? Like, and even the non-blood, because, you know, like I said, I got a second chance to have a mom and dad remarried. And, you know, those relationships, some of those relationships are closer than my blood. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just me being transparent. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you do have to pay attention to your family ties. This podcast was to start paying attention to who shows up for you, even your family. Start paying attention to who you show up for too. And if you're showing up more and there's not, you might have to cut those family ties. And it's not a physical cut off. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to not be around them even. You just have to know your place and know where to put your emotions and know where to put your effort and time in. And that's just the truth. Like, a lot of people may not like what I have to say about this, but tell me if I'm lying. Tell me if I'm lying. Now, on the other hand, I do completely understand that sometimes I have reverted over the years of going back to that selfish, like, me, it's all about me, because me was all I had. Let's be clear, me was all I had. You know, and sometimes what frustrates me even more is, like, it still feels like that. It still feels like that. When the going gets tough, and, like, this is excluding, you know what I'm saying, like, older family members are, you know, as an adult, like, you're not gonna go run to mom and dad about everything. Okay, let's be clear and fair. But, like, there's been times where people need me and I'm there. And I'm not saying that it's a tit for tat, but it's like, all I want to be, honestly, is checked on. How are you? And this is not to play the whole mental health card, take it for whatever. Honestly and truly, how are you? The big brother role is tough. Especially transitioning into one once again, y'all. How are you? You know? And some do. And I appreciate those who do, and I will continue to show up for those who do. I'll even give another scenario for a family tie, because I love him so much. And I really hope he digests this and understands where I'm coming from when he listens, and if he listens to it in entirety. My little brother. So we got into a situation, and I completely, because of also traumas and triggers, this is why we need to talk about them. I am very stubborn sometimes. Sometimes I don't listen. Sometimes I can even get aggressive. And I'm working on that. It comes from a lot of triggers. It comes from a lot of trauma. It comes from being, excuse my language again, fucked over. It comes from always having to be on the defense and be in survival mode. I'm working on it. I'm aware. And grateful that I can create a space to even talk about that here. But I say that to say I was dead wrong in a situation. I was dead wrong in a situation. And I still went up to bat. And after a conversation with my madre, I realized how wrong I was. Like, it's okay to be wrong, but it's not okay if you don't do anything about it. Let's be clear. So long story short, I went and I apologized to my brother. We haven't spoken since that situation. And if you're listening, I love you. More than life itself, you have taught me so much about myself. And I'm super grateful to be your big brother. But I say that to say also, and sometimes family ties, sometimes you are not going to get the response that you're looking for. You know, he was hurt. I hurt him. I apologize. I'm a little shaken up because I didn't get a response. So know that you can also check yourself in this safe space. And I'm saying that to me, like, I just hope it's received and I hope we can move forward. But I say that to also say sometimes you might not even get that sorry. And in closing, because there will be a family ties part 2, because I have so much to say and so much that I've been through that I need to really heal from. And this has been so helpful for me. I hope it's been some kind of therapeutic for you, at least. All in all, I say, give what you can to who you can. And make sure you're also being poured back into too. Mental health is really important. Chosen family even is important, and we'll talk on that in another episode. But I feel so much better just being able to release in general, you know. So thank you for listening, and pay attention to who and what your family ties or died with.